Hey everybody, Stephen M. Lowisz here with the Rise or Die podcast, episode 15, Why? Today's been a pretty rough day. Nothing really has gone very well. Slept in too late. Didn't get everything done that I wanted to. And the workload is just piling up. But then I heard from a training prospect over at my company, Invictus. He backed out at the last second. He wasn't willing to invest in himself. He wanted more, but he wasn't willing to actually put his money where his mouth was. Even after I gave him a break, which is something I've never done. I don't believe in selling based on price, but really wanted to help this guy, and turned around, and I think his wife told him no, and so be it. Maybe one day he'll invest in himself. Then, going later through the day, I got my ass kicked in MMA. I have a fat lip and got my calf crushed. For those of you guys that do jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai, you know what I'm talking about. It's pretty rough. And then I heard back from a dealership that I was working with for diesel trucks as I start one of my other companies. And I found out that, because I'm going through debt consolidation because of all of the debt I racked up trying to invest in my marriage and my body and trying to get my life back on track. Well, you got to pay the piper, and because of that, I'm not going to be able to get financing. So I'm trying to start a business, but I have to come up with a shitload of money up front since I can't get financing, understandably so. Got my ass kicked in MMA, and it's just a whole day full of shit. Those are just a couple of the lowlights, if you will. And the reason that this is called Why, first of all, as I always say, this podcast isn't to, come off like, hey guys, I'm a billionaire, doing well with an awesome marriage and yada, yada, yada. What I do have is a pretty awesome marriage compared to what I had. What I do have is a new level of fitness that I've never had. What I do have is a better relationship with God than ever. But what I don't have is the business success I used to, because I paid every dime that I had and then 100,000 more to figure out marriage, because marriage used to be my problem. So, okay, now it's business. I can handle that, but it's days like this where you're in entrepreneurship and you're just asking, why am I doing this shit? Why am I pushing so hard? Why do I work so much when there's a roadblock everywhere you turn? It's a really big ass kick. For anyone that's thinking about going into entrepreneurship, I certainly encourage you to do so. I'm not trying to dissuade you, but no one covers the real tough parts of entrepreneurship. All they want to do is cover the end. They want to cover, the glitz and the glamour after you make $1 billion. Well, how much work did you go through to get there? How many sleepless nights? How many times did you not get to go to bed with your wife because you were working? How many times was a roadblock put in your way and you were told, no, you can't do this, so your entire business plan has to be modified, if not scratched? Why is one of the best questions I've ever heard, or excuse me, that I've ever asked. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I on earth? Why am I pushing so hard? Why do I need to be an entrepreneur? Why do I want to have it all? Why do I want business success? And guys, days like today, it's really tough. Maybe you're having a kick-ass day. Maybe you're in the same damn boat. But I want this podcast to expose the good, the bad, and the ugly of entrepreneurship and being on the adventure of having it all across body, being, balance, and business. It's tough, guys. So what I'll ask you is, what is your why? You probably don't know if you don't have your life figured out in any of the core four. I have 3 that, I'm doing pretty well in. I need a lot of improvement. I have some big goals, so it feels like I'm doing pretty shitty. But to see how far I've come, I have 3 that I feel confident about. And then I have 1 power leak, which is business. Now, if maybe you suck in all 4 areas. Maybe you're only good at 1. I don't know. Body, being, balance, and business. Maybe you're fit as can be, but it's because you're sedating all the shit going on in your life and the shitty marriage you have and the debt that's mounting up you're sedating it with fitness, going to the gym and just ignoring it all, putting on headphones, pumping some iron. I certainly encourage fitness, pushing yourself to the extreme. I'm training for a half Ironman, plus I do MMA, and my aim is to fight by the end of the year. I certainly get it, but we have to be well-rounded, and it's easy to be good at one thing, but it feels like Mount Everest trying to be good at all four things. So at the end of the day, what is your why? Why do you need to get off your ass and do more? Why do you need to get off your ass and try to be that millionaire that you've always dreamed of? Why do you need to go home and kiss your wife hello instead of bitching her out the second you walk in the door? Why do you need to commit to getting up at 4 a.m. and not going to bed till 11 or 12 at night? You got to have a reason. You got to have leverage on yourself. What is the why behind all of this? When I started to ask why, I was able to basically bully myself into doing shit, right? So, all right, it's 9:15 when I'm recording this, 9:15 at night. I've been up since 5:30. I actually slept in, but after a long fucking day, all I want to do is go to bed in 45 minutes at 10 o'clock with my wife and just sleep and get as much sleep as possible. That in my mind is like, okay, that's probably the healthiest thing I can do right now. But then I have to battle through the mountain of projects that I have for both my companies and the ones I'm consulting for. I got to do marketing for my own, but then I'm also a marketing consultant for two different companies right now on different time zones, different coasts. They're both paying me a shitload of money, and I got to figure out how to do all this work. Well, why am I willing to not go to bed with my wife tonight? Why am I willing to skip skiing with my wife and our family this weekend? Now, thankfully, I don't have kids. She'll be with her in-laws, or her parents, my in-laws. I was supposed to go, and now I'm backing out because I have so much shit to do, and it hurts, and it seems like I'm being a dick, but in the long run, guess what? In 5 years, where will I be? Well, I'll be taking my wife to frickin' Aspen and the Swiss Alps and enjoying life. It's short-term pain for long-term gain, and that's a cheesy statement, but I now have leverage on myself. I can make shitty choices now so that I get what I want. I can take action. That's not something I had till I started asking, why am I doing this? Why am I subjecting myself to this shithole of a lifestyle? So crossbody being balanced in business, why do you want more? You have no leverage on yourself, and you're not going to act until you figure out your why. At least you won't act effectively. You may keep busy, but you're not going to dominate and have it all across body being balanced in business. That is episode 15, Why, with myself, Stephen M. Lowisz, for the Rise or Die podcast. Do someone a favor, turn them on to this podcast. Someone who needs it, someone who needs a little kick in the ass. That's my goal with this. Also, subscribe at riseordiepodcast.com, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 16.